sorry, but Marissa gets on my nerves. Hi, I'm Danny. Welcome to my dark desk. We're here to talk about 90 Day Fiancé, season 12, episode 12. May God help us. We are going to talk about two couples today. The first couple we're going to talk about is Marissa and Edward. I wasn't here last week, so quick recap. Marissa throws a party, gave Edward a bunch of rules how he has to present himself, and then Marissa proceeds to shit talk Edward to her friends, saying that he's not sophisticated enough. God only knows what sophisticated means, and Edward was talking with her male friends and saying these are the people who he would help at the resort. There's such a class difference that's happening right now, and I really resent Marissa saying that she doesn't think Edward is sophisticated enough. So we start off the episode. It's 45 days till wed. Marissa decides to go to NYC by herself because she needs some alone time to think. She is going to do her last dress fitting, and she's doing it with Shayla, who I believe was in the last episode, episode 11. And then there's her work wife, Dorothy. We saw Dorothy in the first episode. Marissa goes into the fitting room to try on her dress. Dorothy asks Shayla, what does she think about Edward? Shayla says she is doubtful because of the things that Marissa said about Edward. She said that he seems nice, or she liked him, but now she's having like kind of 50-50 right now because of what Marissa said. And this is just akin to the problem with Marissa. You're talking a lot of crap about your partner and you expect everybody to be behind you. Dorothy asked Shayla if she is supportive of Marissa marrying Edward. Shayla was about to get caught on the okie doke. Shayla was about to say nah, but then she realized she's on camera and she said, I just want Marissa to be happy. And Dorothy's like, well, she needs to be sure. It doesn't sound like she's sure, and that's a problem. Marissa steps out with the dress. The dress is nice. It's pretty busy. The bottom part of the dress is really nice. I don't like the bodice. I definitely do not like the choker. The choker looks dated. And obviously I hope she does something different with her hair and makeup. Marissa says that her dress is sophisticated and sexy just like her. And I'm like, what the fuck is sophisticated? Marissa is a snob. So every time she says sophisticated, it's signaling to me that you think you're better than everybody else, and baby, you are not. After she comes out of the dress and talks about how sexy and sophisticated it is, Dorothy put it out there. She's like, I hope you're doing this for the right reasons. And Marissa's like, what is the right reason? So it's not like I'm marrying him for his money. Ew. And Dorothy's like, well, I hope it's not for like the physicality of it. And Marissa's like, well, that's most of it. I'm like, oh, okay. So you expected him to be a boy toy, but now you're mad that your boy toy isn't as sophisticated as you'd like. Is that what we're understanding? Okay. So Dorothy says, well, yeah, I figured it was about the sex. And Marissa says she's about 75% sure that she wants to marry Edward. And the look on Dorothy's face and Shayla's face were like, in her interview, Dorothy says, if it's not 100%, if it's not all in, then you might as well be all out. And I 100% agree. So Marissa described like a conversation her and Edward had. She told him that she asked Edward for space, left him in Pennsylvania, and she didn't text him all day. And he, at the end of the night, was like saying, oh, have a good night. And she's like, okay, have a good night. I love you. And he didn't write back. And she said, oh, he's mad because I wanted space. And she's low-key, high-key making him sound clingy. And I don't know if that's fair. In the interview, she said that she shouldn't be settling, but nobody understands how complicated the situation is. How are they supposed to understand how complicated the situation is when you are talking cash money shit about Edward and expecting them to support this decision? You are telling them all your doubts, all your misgivings, all the problems, how it's been awful for you, how you're being not yourself, and he's not bringing out the best in you, and he's not independent, and he doesn't have a game plan, all these things, knowing full well that it's more complicated and nuanced than that. Well, then why aren't you saying that? Why aren't you protecting your partner? If you love them, you protect them. But she's not protecting them. She's leaving them out to the woods and then saying, oh, I don't understand why they don't understand the nuances of this relationship. Duh. Fast forward, we see Marissa on the pier. I think they're in Dumbo. Edward texts Marissa saying that he's gonna come to New York because he has something to talk to her about. In his interview, he mentions right off the train station, which is how I knew he was in Brooklyn and not in Jersey City. He said that when Marissa left, she just said goodbye, like bye, and she just jetted out the house. She didn't give him a hug. She didn't even give him a kiss. She gave him no affection and just dipped. And she admitted to us and Mallory and Shayla that she wasn't texting him. So not only did you not give him affection, you're also not communicating with him. You're low-key, high-key ghosting him, and you are mad that he didn't respond when you said, love you, good night. Why should he? So he meets her at the pier. He brings her a latte. This man is mad at her, and he brings you a latte. Can we just sit with that for a minute? Do you understand how many men have been mad at me and have gotten me a blessed thing when they're mad? Not a piece of food, not a sip to drink, not a puff to puff. They did not bring me shit when they were mad at me. Edward brings Marissa a latte. How considerate for someone who's unsophisticated. So Edward says to Marissa that he doesn't feel good about how she's treating him. He says that she's been cold and he feels like he's begging for love and affection. He feels like he's been giving her everything that she wants and she hasn't been giving him anything in return. And he's like, you can't tell me that you were never like this, because when we used to spend time together before I moved here, you were very loving and affectionate, and that's why I fell in love with you. And Marissa kind of low-key, high-key gaslights him and says he expects her to be as affectionate as he is. And also, she says she's not in the right headspace to be affectionate. They both agree that their connection isn't the same as it was when he was in DR. Edward says that he does everything that she wants and she doesn't give him anything in return, and she still complains. And Marissa says that's not true, because when I wanted space, you know, you're texting me and then you got mad that I wasn't texting you as much. And she says that she's unsure and she's anxious and she's, questioning if they're compatible and if they should get married at all. And Edward in his interview says this is bullshit. Edward apparently knows his self-worth. Good for him. He doesn't need this shit. So the next couple we're going to talk about is Paola and Thomas. Now, I don't think they were in last week's episode. We're still in North Carolina. The episode starts with Tom and Tom, because they're both named Tom, right? Hanging out, talking about how California is different from North Carolina. We see Rini, who is Thomas' stepmother, go to pick up Paola at the trailer, and Paola jumps out and like, boom. And she's like, I was waiting for you. And Rini's like, oh, do you want to go plant seeds? And Paola's like, absolutely. In the interview, Paola says that she's going to apologize for the hurt she caused Rini, because that was never her intention. And while she knows that her intentions were completely good and pure, she didn't like the fact that she hurt Rini's feelings. So she's going to do the right thing and apologize. Can I say that we all need a person in our life like Paola, who is just so sweet and loving and just leads with love and optimism and does the right thing. What a good fucking soul she is. As they're planting seeds and they're like, Rini sticking her hand in the dirt, Paula's like, don't you want to use a tool for that? And Rini's like, I love to feel my hand in dirt. And Paula's like, such a city girl. I love it. Paula come out, she communicates how she didn't feel like she could talk to Rini the last time because she felt like there was so many hurt feelings. While Paula's trying to explain her side, Rini jumps in and she says, well, you don't understand what the history is. In an interview, Rini says that she raised Thomas during his darkest time, and she doesn't understand why he would want to reconnect with his mother, because ultimately his mother wasn't there, and for her there's nothing for him to connect to. And I want to say, Rini, that is not your fucking place. If that child wants to connect with his mom, that's his choice. It doesn't matter what you feel about him, how she wronged you, because that's between you and her. If Thomas wants to forgive his mother, that's between him and his mother. Be there for him if the mother fucks up again. Fast forward the different scene, Thomas is talking to Tom and he blames Paula for him reconnecting with his mom. And I'm like, yo, Tom, where's your balls at, man? How are you gonna blame your girl for you connecting with your mom? Because you could have put your foot down and say, hey babe, I'm not doing it. You could have done that. But no, you take the pussy willow out and let Paula lead you into trying to reconnect with your mom. If that's not what you wanted to do, then don't throw her under the bus. Your dad, Thomas, is always gonna fucking love you. He may not like Paula. He doesn't have to like Paula. So you're making it so that it's that much harder for your dad to like Paula by saying that shit. You dummy. You coward ass. Thomas is a coward ass. I don't like him. Tom says this crooked ass thing like, well, you know what? Honestly, you're not going to remember who is at your wedding anyway. But ultimately, I don't understand why you would invite her. What are you talking about, Tom? Are you still holding on to her feelings that she left you? Or that she wasn't there to raise her child? Yeah, you could hate her for that. But if your son wants to have his mother involved in his life now, that's none of your fucking business. Nobody's telling you to forgive her. That you don't have to live your life. But if your son wants to forgive her, that's his choice. Rini is actually really nice and says that she understands that Paula comes from a close-knit family where everyone is connected and spends time together and talks. and she understood why Paula encouraged Thomas to reach out to his mom and reconnect with his mom, because that's Paula's heart and that's what she's used to, and she wanted that for Thomas. And so she understands completely, and she's not upset about it. She understands. She was just a little hurt, and the way Rini explained herself there was really beautiful, and I appreciate Rini for that. She rubbed me the wrong way. Her giving Paula understanding was very kind. I don't know about the dad. Thomas gives his dad kudos for being there for him, and he's like, you were always there for me. If anything happened, I always knew I could rely on you. And that made the dad feel good. He's like, well, thank you, and I appreciate that. In the interview, Thomas knows that this is not going to change a thing. He doesn't know if his dad's going to come to the wedding, but at least he tried, and at least he apologized and did that much. Then he says to Paula, have you learned your lesson about trying to make everyone reconnect? And Paula's just like, I want a family picture with everybody. And Thomas is like, you haven't learned, which is so cute because Paula is such a sweet soul. I just like Paula. And that is my recap. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do as you deem fit. Keep your sippy sippies, your puffy puffies close, but your instincts even closer. And I'll be sure to catch you on the flips. Bye. So what if you've flown on planes and been around the world? Nobody cares. It doesn't make you better than anybody. What makes you better is how you treat people. And you can't even treat the person you love with respect and kindness. Well, then you're not a good fucking person, and you're not that sophisticated.